Welcome to another edition of Flea Market Fantasy, the world's second greatest Bronze Age era comic book podcast. Joining me as always is new Michael, Kevin Jank.
I am here, and by the end of this hour, you will be my demon bride.
Finally. Jank, why don't you tell the kids what we're reading today?
Today we're going to be reading Ka-Zar the Savage, number 12, from 1983, was it?
82, I believe. But,
March of 1982.
Ka-Zar the Savage, basically he's Tarzan, and he's got a little saber-toothed tiger.
He's also kind of, he's Tarzan, but he looks more like He-Man. He even got the same, Page Boy haircut back, at least at this time.
We've been doing this show for 4 years, never encountered Ka-Zar yet. Is that why you picked this?
Yeah, I would say that's the main reason. We did Shanna the She-Devil not long ago. So I
figured
it was
time
to do her, her boy toy there, Kazar.
Yeah, I remember Shanna was fighting that mandrill guy, the monkey guy. That was pretty great. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So before we get into Ka-Zar the Savage,
Shanna always fighting people that are trying to take advantage of her against her will.
Is that really what was
Mandrill? Going on? Yeah. Remember Mandrill was he would hypnotize the ladies.
Oh yeah. And I was thinking, well, when else did it happen? Oh, in this issue right here we're reading today.
Yeah, this one right here.
It happened in this one. I forgot already.
The two appearances of Shanna we've read so far. We're 2 for 2.
All right. So before we get into the book, let's remind everybody, if you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We have 101 subscribers, Jank. We did it. We cracked 100.
I didn't think it would ever happen.
Yeah. 900 more and we'll be in business.
Yeah.
Let's go rally the Flea Army. But thanks to everyone who subscribed. Now, I don't know. They don't always tell me, who subscribed and everything, so I don't know who exactly the 100th subscriber was. But the moment we find out, Jank will take you to dinner.
Yep, we'll get our crack team on it.
So we'll figure it out. But yeah, 100 subscribers, Jank. Oh, what a ride it's been.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like most of that was this year. The show's been
it was in the last
couple of years, and then yeah.
So we're really making an effort here. Again, just 900 more. See, up to this point, the Flea Army has been voluntary, but now I think we might need to put in a draft. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you're a subscriber,
and every person in America now has to spend a year as a subscriber to this podcast.
Yes, reading terrible comic books. I think that's really the only way we'll get to 1,000. But hey, every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. But anyway. All right, let's get into this book, Ka-Zar the Savage. Ka-Zar's had a bunch of series, but this is Ka-Zar the Savage from the early 80s.
That's how you know it's good. It's the Savage.
Savage.
Way better than regular Ka-Zar.
Now, the first Ka-Zar, he was in the Golden Age, and he was David Rand, and his first appearance was Pulp Magazine Ka-Zar issue 1, 1936, created by Bob Bird. So Ka-Zar dates all the way back to 1936. How about that, Jim? Pretty nuts.
David Durant. That's very Iron Fist-esque.
I know. That's what I thought when I read it, too. Then writer artist Ben Thompson adapted the character for Marvel Comics 1 in 1939. And the original Ka-Zar, his backstory is that he was on a plane with his family and it crashed in the Congo jungle. His mother died and he was raised by his crazy father in the jungle because his father had lost his mind. Then his dad died, I think, and one day he rescued a lion named Zar from quicksand, and they became chums and defenders of the jungle. So the name Ka-Zar meant brother of Zar because Zar was the lion.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes people call me K-Jank, brother of Jank. But the Ka-Zar we're reading today is Kevin Plunder, and he first appeared in the X-Men issue 10, 1965, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And they drew inspiration from not only the first Ka-Zar character in Tarzan, but also Tor, a caveman character created by Joe Kubert. And Stan Lee said he never even read any of the original Ka-Zar stories. His first solo story was in Marvel Superheroes 1969. And then he had features in Savage Tales. I didn't even know that was a book. And Astonishing Tales. All told, he's had 5 self-titled series. The first was published in 1970-71, and lasted just 3 issues. They were mostly reprints, though, so it really wasn't a series. But
Oh, okay.
the second series ran from 1974 to 77, and that lasted 20 issues. The third series, Ka-Zar the Savage, ran from 1981 to 1984, a span of 34 issues. So at least I'll be able to do a top 11 Ka-Zar covers shortly because there's at least 34.
Enough, yeah.
The fourth series was in 1997-98 and lasted 20 issues. And then
just recently read a good chunk of that one.
Oh.
Andy Kubert art on that one, so.
Kubert's.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. Their daddy created Thor, the caveman.
Yeah.
He's really, the fifth series was a 5-issue miniseries in 2011.
I think I missed that one somehow. I feel like I was reading everything Marvel put out at the time. Somehow missed that. Yeah.
It's a real mystery why you missed Ka-Zar. You know?
Yeah.
Has there been any talk of them bringing Ka-Zar into like the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
You know what? I don't think so.
This seems like it would be ideal for like one of them Disney Plus shows or whatever series.
Totally. I want to say maybe during like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness when he's kind of falling through different realities. There's one where like you can almost see what looks like the Savage Land or something like that. There might have been a dinosaur, so it's like I think that was the only thing they've done that even remotely hints at Ka-Zar in the Savage Land. But yeah, I mean the Savage Land would be great to explore.
So Kevin Plunder was born in Castle Plunder in Kentish Town, London, England. He is the eldest son of Lord Robert Plunder, who discovered the Savage Land, and he brought back samples of antimetal, or Antarctic vibranium. This mysterious metal had the ability to produce vibrations at liquefied metals. I guess people wanted to get that, metal off him, and so he had some enemies there, and he went back to the Savage Land, and I think he took his wife and then little Kevin or whatever. Or is his wife already dead at this point? I'm getting
wife
confused.
Might have already been dead. I think he brought Kevin and he left the other son, Parnival, back home with like the butler. The butler was kind of a shady guy.
Why would you do that?
Like, I don't know. Like he's splitting up his resources, I guess. Like he didn't want to put all of his children in one basket in case, the Savage Land kills his son. Like at least he's got one out there, I guess.
Yeah, I forgot about this, but doesn't his brother become a bad guy at some point?
Yeah, he becomes a villain. He was a big part of that 97 series that I read. He becomes kind of the opposite where he's very tech heavy. Like Ka-Zar is obviously very savage and very primitive and this guy's full on tech head.
Did he have a nickname or is he just?
I think he just went by Plunder, which is, evil enough.
Yeah, it's a pretty good name. Yeah.
It's very similar to I think there was Loot and Plunder from Captain Planet. They just sound like bad guys.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
you lost me with the Captain Planet reference. I have no idea what's going on there.
Yeah, sadly that was part of my childhood. Not a proud part, but.
So this Lord Robert Plunder, he took Kevin with him to the Savage Land again. And when he was there, he got murdered by a bunch of man-apes. One of the inhabitants of the Savage Land.
Man-apes.
So Kevin was raised by Zabu, the saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah.
And in this version of the character, Ka-Zar now means son of the tiger.
Oh, I like that better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like it.
I like brother better, but you can't call him Zabu, brother of Zabu. No, he's son of lion or tiger, I guess. Tiger. Yeah, and Zabu's a big saber-toothed tiger guy.
Yeah, he is. Big orange saber-toothed tiger.
And we mentioned the Savage Land. That's where all this takes place. The first appearance was actually in Marvel Mystery Comics issue 22 from 1941. And the story was called Kor the Black Sorcerer, and it was written by Joe Simon, and I think Jack Kirby and Sid Shores were on the art there. It was actually called The Land Where Time Stands Still. That was the original name of the Savage Land.
A little wordy. I can see why they shortened it.
That's what I also called my hometown of Greensburg, Pennsylvania. And it gained its normal name in X-Men issue 10, again by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. So that's the first Savage Land, actually. Now, do you know the origin of the Savage Land?
I feel like I heard it at some point, but I could not tell you now, no.
I just thought it was some natural occurring thing where for those who don't know, it's down in Antarctica, and it's just in a little pocket area where it's like prehistoric back there with dinosaurs and whatnot. And
super warm for some reason.
Even though it's in the middle of Antarctica. Well, there's a reason why it's super warm. I guess the origin is that, you know, the Beyonder fella?
Yeah.
There's like a race of them called the Beyonders, and they wanted to study evolution. So they got some little alien race. I can't remember the name of the alien race, begins with an N. And that's good. That's all you need to know. And they basically, I think there's an H and a U in it too. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, this is one of those things I should have looked up. But yeah, what are you going to do? So anyway, these little aliens, they created this area down in Antarctica, and they had these special machines, you know, alien technology that made the climate, you know, all tropical or whatnot. And, so it's like a jungle down there. And the idea was to study evolution of various species over the years in a controlled setting like that. And that's how we got the Savage Land. I had no idea. I had no idea it was alien related. Yeah.
I think I knew that somewhere along the line. I knew that at one point it got destroyed and the High Evolutionary brought it back during Evolutionary War.
Then the X-Men had a thing where they were down in the Savage Land with the High Evolution. That was their annual, right?
Yeah, sure was.
And you mentioned Shanna earlier. Yeah, Shanna, she becomes Ka-Zar's wife, right? They get married.
Yep. They have a little baby boy named Matthew at some point. And I think Kazar was kind of mad about that once he realized that she dated Matt Murdock. He's like, wait a minute,
what? First of all, I didn't know Daredevil dated Shanna the She-Devil.
Yeah.
Big Daredevil guy. When did that happen?
I'm not sure. I think there may have even been a brief, like, date or two between her and Peter Parker. Like, she was getting around back in the day.
But how about Daredevil, man? Elektra and Shanna. He's
Black Widow.
Typhoid Mary.
Yeah. Karen Page. I mean, all kind of other non-powered people.
And what are the odds that two like jungle-based characters will find love? Oh, good on you guys. All right, so the villain in this issue is Belasco.
Yeah.
And we talked about him not too long ago. What book did we do?
We did the Exterminators that had to do with Limbo and, you know, the Inferno event, which he's a big part of Limbo. I know you and I think Mike L. and Brandon did that Storm and Magic series.
Yes, that's where we really talked about Belasco, I think. Yeah. But just to remind everybody, Belasco's first appearance was Ka-Zar the Savage issue 11. So
yeah, before this.
Pretty crazy. Because you think of him as an X-Men kind of villain or whatever because of magic, but no, he started out in Ka-Zar. And he was created by Bruce.
Not even any talk of Limbo in this issue either.
No. He got his history or his backstory gets evolved over the years. But Bruce Jones and Brent Anderson are the creators. They're also the creators of the book we're reading today. And Belasco was a sorcerer in 13th century Florence, Italy. He used alchemy and the black arts to conduct extra-dimensional demonic entities known as the Elder Gods. And he helped them enter our world, and they rewarded him with immortality and mystical powers. Spoiler alert, his defeat in this issue is how he ends up in Limbo. We'll talk about it when we get there, but yeah, so that's how we get to Limbo. But yeah, Belasco, he was the ruler of Limbo, and he abducted Ileana Rasputin and turned her into Magic, the little sorcerer girl. So
yeah, raised her there for years. And this Belasco seems like a real creep, so.
Yeah, I don't know what he did to her down there, but
yeah,
seems like a creep. All right, let's take a look at the cover, Jank. Why don't you describe it for us?
Okay, so we got the, it's kind of abbreviated corner box there. No picture of Ka-Zar or anything. Just the Marvel Comics group and then like a diamond that says 75 cents. And
yeah, I don't like that. I want to see the little corner box.
I guess they're trying to make it classier. But, it's kind of missing a little pizzazz, I would say.
Yeah. Is this like the UK version or?
I don't know.
Because there's a UK 30 pence up there. Like that was never in my,
maybe. Yeah. Interesting. But then it says Ka-Zar the Savage. It's kind of, it's an okay font style. Nothing too fancy. They didn't really try too hard for Ka-Zar.
I don't know. They did all right. It's very He-Man-esque again, the font and the lettering, I think.
Yes.
And,
with the hyphen, Ka-Zar, it's very He-Man.
And it's bright red. And then the Savage underneath it, they did a little, some lines in there to make it look like weathered or something, or?
Yeah, I feel like they tried a little more on the Savage. They gave it a little bit. But, then we get, there's like a rocky, kind of ground, and there's like some boiling lava, but it's like blue.
Yeah, they probably missed on that, right?
Yeah, must have thought it was water, but yeah. So it's very blue heavy. And then we got Belasco standing there, raising his one arm triumphantly, holding up one of his bloodstones. He's got Shanna next to him, dressed like some kind of a nun almost. She's very, covered and not like her usual self, where she's just wearing that leopard bikini. She's very nunned up, I would say. And we got a winged green guy, kind of hung up, kind of looking half dead. He's nailed to a cross, essentially. Again, he's also very He-Man-esque looking. He's got like the kind of loincloth, with the giant belt. It's very He-Man look. And then we got Kazar, our hero, just sleeping in the foreground, just laying on the ground, knocked out.
Taking a nap. Yeah,
the action pose you always wanted for Kazar. He kind of is laying like a centerfold with like one arm back. Kind of just a look of ecstasy on his face.
So this is Brent Anderson on the art here. Yeah, I think the art's fine. Yeah, I wonder about that water there. That should be lava, right? Like if we're looking.
Yeah, I mean it could be boiling water, I suppose. Like maybe he's just so evil he's making the water boil. Or
some natural spring. But I think in the story, isn't there like they're underground in this cavern and stuff? Wasn't there like a lava thing?
Yeah, I think they definitely mention lava in the story, so that's what makes me think that it should have been lava.
And you mentioned the bloodstone that he's holding up. Now, is this the same like bloodstone, like Elsa bloodstone and all that? Like these kind of bloodstones?
I don't think so, but I think these are the same bloodstones that he's always after. Like he was always trying to do the same thing with the 5 bloodstones, and it seemed like he could just never get the last one in there.
Kind of like Thanos in the gems. But yeah, the idea is he wants these 5 bloodstones to put in this amulet that has like a pentagram design in it, and if he gets all the bloodstones in there, he can call those elder gods into our world, those old demons and whatnot. In this issue, the whole plot is he's trying to, he brainwashed Shanna, and he's going to marry her. She found the amulet that he needs or something, or somehow, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's why. Or just because, his old wife is dead, so he wants a new hot lady, and he happened to find one.
Yeah, he kidnapped a lady before and raped her and impregnated her. And then she died during childbirth. And she gave birth to like just a demon, right? Just demons and stuff?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. I think they mentioned that later on, what exactly the spawns were. I don't know if those are those demons they're fighting later on. Like those are all just kind of that same lineage.
I think so. And a lot of this goes back to the Divine Comedy too. Dante's Inferno. So this is very literary. This issue. It's very strange.
Really, I mean, they say Belasco's first appearance is Ka-Zar number 11, but it could be. It really should be the Divine Comedy.
Yeah, they kind of intertwine the two origin stories. All right, Jenks, then when you open the book, we just get a big shot of Belasco. Very unusual looking fellow. He kind of looks like a classic devil guy, like a Mephisto. But on his head, he's got 2 knobs. like on his forehead.
Like they were trying to be horns, but somebody burned them off before they grew, like you do with a goat sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, like he sanded them down into little balls on his forehead. It's an unusual look. All right, so then we turn the page and we see Belasco is talking. He's got Ka-Zar the Savage there. Kazar's got his back to us right away. Again, not a fan of that. The first time you see your hero and his back to you, I don't know. I think you want to do something.
Well, they're promoting the villain here.
This Belasco fella, he's very tall and thin.
Well, he's been frozen for so long, his body's probably just been, eating off whatever fat he had.
Yeah, he was frozen in a big block of ice or something. Because they're down in the underground here in the Savage Land, and apparently there's plumbing down there. And he cracked.
Are they even in the Savage Land now? I think they're somewhere else.
Oh, really?
Like I mentioned,
they're down in an underground cavern or something.
Ka-Zar, mere months ago, Ka-Zar had discovered a subtropical paradise called Pangea. Nestled amidst the Antarctic wastes, he and Shanna, along with the saber-toothed cat Zabu, had explored a small portion of this vast outpost built by the ancient Atlanteans. So this is like some other,
No, I think
paradise in Antarctica that's also, it just happens to be there.
I think that's still Savage Land. Because the Savage Land's origin story about the Beyonders and the aliens, the Atlanteans also come into it, and I didn't do that part of it. But they came in.
Yeah, but he's lived there most of his life, so he didn't just discover that months ago. This may be just some other suburb of the Savage Land they didn't realize was there, but yeah.
I think that's what it is. Like, it's a different little area of the Savage Land, but I think overall it's still the Savage Land.
Like the west side.
Yeah.
I've never been over here.
The bad side of the tracks. Don't go over there. But they're underground, too. They're like in some maze underground or something. I don't know. It's all weird.
Kind of weird stuff over there. It seems like the race of people with the wings, like it seems like they're from this area. So there's all kind of different things going on over here than happen in the normal Savage Land we're used to, I guess.
Yeah, there's also a robot guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
You seem very excited about the robot guy. I was not.
I mean, the robot guy had a great scene.
I suppose. I don't know. Not a fan. Because he looks like a normal dude in like a toga, or an outfit. He doesn't look like a robot. And then, and he's got a goofy little haircut. He kind of looks like Steve Guttenberg if he was like a robot. So, that's all I just saw. So I wasn't too excited about it.
More reason to make a Ka-Zar movie. We can bring back Steve Guttenberg.
But, what's his face? Belasco, he's standing on his throne there, and he's got Shanna by his side. And he's like, hey, I'm going to marry Shanna. And, Ka-Zar's like, hey, you devil, you brainwashed her, And Ka-Zar jumps at him.
Brainwashed your bird friend there, and even the robot somehow. Even though he's a robot and immune to mind control, I still just reprogrammed him. Because like Paulie in Rocky IV, I'm just really good at robotics as well.
And we should mention Ka-Zar. He's not the brightest fella. That's why they combined him with the tour guy, the old caveman character, because I guess he speaks in broken English and stuff, and he's kind of like a caveman too. So when he's jumping at Belasco, the rope grabs his arm, so he can't stab him with the knife or whatever. But now they're out of his throne room, and they're into like again, they're all underground, but there's like a cliff underground, and they get to the edge of the cliff, and he's like, "Hey, I want to show you where your bird friend is," And what are they going to do with the bird guy, Jack?
They basically have him hooked up to a cross. It doesn't appear to be nailed to it. More so, they just have weird metal like manacles holding up the wings of him. And he's just kind of there, and then he's making him sing. Like he's like, "Yeah, I got this guy mind control too. Watch me make him whistle." He does, and Ka-Zar is not happy about that.
And then Belasco snaps his finger, and all his little demon buddies come out of the caverns there, and they all got bows and arrows. And he's like, "All right, I'm going to release the bird now." And the bird guy, they release him from the cross, and he goes flying up into the air, and all the demons just start unleashing their arrows on him. Target practice.
This started out very dark. Yeah.
Ka-Zar headbutts the robot guy, frees himself, and he jumps into the demons and knocks them down. It's just weird seeing demons with bows and arrows. It's a little strange. But,
more melee weapon guys in your head.
Maybe switchblades. But so the bird guy gets shot out of the sky, and he goes crashing down into something. Oh, but look, there's Zabu. Zabu's lurking in the shadows.
From the shadows. Yep.
Ka-Zar lunges at Belasco with his knife, and Belasco already told him once, you can't hurt me with your knife. I'm like immortal or whatever. But again, Ka-Zar's not the smartest fella, so he tries it again. And
what are you gonna do? Like, you can't just let him. I'm like, all right, I guess you could have Shanna. I only have one weapon here. I guess it's either that or just try to box him.
Maybe use your smarts, But I guess he's a dumb fella. He can't. But he jumps to Belasco. The dialogue here is pretty rough from Bruce Jones. Sometimes
yeah. I mean, some of the dialogue was. I thought the word boxes, like the prose, was a little bit better. I thought.
But he's like, "No, thank you, my friend. I have a knife. I don't need one." Okay, whatever. You, on the other hand, appear to be rather in need of some artificial assistance. This Belasco's got a prehensile tail as well.
Yeah, like Nightcrawler.
It shoots out and starts choking Ka-Zar. That's got to be humiliating, being choked by a fella's tail. That can't be good.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't know where that tail's been.
No. And then he's got his robot guy there. And he tells, "Hey, I want to show you how powerful my mind control is, even over this filthy robot." And what happens to the robot, Jack?
Oh, this was great. He's like, "I wonder if you'd be so kind, Dirk, as to open yourself completely to us. You may begin with the chest cavity." And Ka-Zar's like, "No, Dirk, don't listen to him." But too late. Dirk's doing it. He just rips his own chest off, revealing just, the robot parts beneath. And then he's like, "Well, here goes my arm," rips that off. And then he starts pulling his legs off him. They can say that they're yanking the legs from the trunk with destructive precision. And then he like uses the other arm to like pull off his other arm somehow. And then the detached arms are both kind of still operating as just, freestanding robot pieces, and they pull his head off. And yeah, it's basically just a full page of 6 boxes of him just pulling himself apart. It's pretty great.
That poor robot. So then we get a big splash page of, this is pretty cool, of Belasco, his face in the middle. And he's basically telling his backstory about his search for the Bloodstones and putting into the pentagram because he wants to call those old gods back. And how he's going to... His first lady was Beatrice, who was mentioned in the Divine Comedy.
Yeah.
Old Dante's Inferno. What was Dante... what's his name? Alighieri, something like that, yeah. I never read the Divine Comedy. But basically, it's a 3-act epic poem, and in one of them, it's called Dante's Inferno. He goes into hell, the depths of hell, So I guess Belasco is basically like demon down there in the depths of hell, and he's still Beatrice.
It took longer to write that epic poem or Cousin Brandon's book.
Well, maybe Cousin Brandon's, yeah. What do you think he's still working on another one? Or probably not, huh?
I don't know.
Yeah. Pretty good. But so Belasco, Beatrice, she was a guide. She wasn't really in the Dante's Inferno, I don't believe. She was in the 3rd act, the one where about what was that called? I don't know, about Paradise, Paradiso, I believe it was called, right?
Oh,
again, never read. I'm not one for epic poems.
Yeah, I like light poems.
Yeah, dirty limericks.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really into epic poems. Interesting bit about this page, though, they just show Belasco taking Beatrice down. She's pregnant and down into the caverns or whatever. And they show old Dante there because he came down to try and rescue. And, this Dante, he's the guy who wrote the Divine Comedy. They just took him and made him a character in this story. And,
yeah. All right. It's just pretty cool, I guess. I mean, it's a total trademark. And I guess there's no trademark on that. It's so long ago, but...
All right, so we're looking at this page. Do you see the panel there on the left of the demon in red ink in the white background? Looks awesome, right? Well, here's the problem with that. When they first released the book, that panel was dropped out, I guess. So it was just a white box, and like there's a printing mishap. And so then they had to go back in and they put in that red demon who looks awesome. But I guess those are...
That's why they had to get the British version for this comic book.
Oh, maybe. But... so those original issues are collector's items, though. If you can get them, they probably the most valuable Kazar comic. I want to go on a limb because I can't imagine Kazar is very valuable. But you never know. So
what if you got that and then drew in your own demon?
Yeah, draw your own demon. Yeah, that's a good gimmick. So they show Dante Alighieri. They're trying to... I don't know how to pronounce his name. Alighieri, I think. Alighieri. But anyway. He's trying to say... He
kind of looks like the old woman, like the old gypsy woman from, the old werewolf movies. Apparently this is what Dante looks like.
So he's trying to save Beatrice, and he gets in a sword fight with old Belasco. And as we mentioned earlier, wherever they are, there's apparently pipes. And they accidentally hit, like, some coolant out of this pipe. And it's the air conditioning system. And it freezes Belasco. That's odd, right?
You're in some underground cave, and there's just a, liquid nitrogen tube going.
To the plumbing down there, and this demonic underground hell cave.
I gotta wonder if that was a part of the Inferno there.
No, that was not. That was not Dante's Inferno.
But they're taking some license.
But I like these pages here in the sequence. We get they're really cool layouts and just big Belasco faces. And we see Shanna down there. And he shows...
I was looking at the issue number 11, his actual first appearance, and it seems like that's mostly what they did in that issue, too, was like somebody was telling Ka-Zar this story already. So it's like they're just recapping his origin already. I mean, there's maybe a little bit of new information here, but
that's
mostly
his gimmick.
It seems like, he loves
every time Belasco shows up, he has to tell you his origin. So he lifts off the amulet. It's hanging around Shanna's neck there, and he's like, "Hey, see, this is what we're after here." And he's like, hey, demons, take them. And all these demons jump on Ka-Zar. I gotta say, Ka-Zar, really not too impressive until the end he comes through. But he's just held prisoner by robots, beaten up by demons, smacked around. And they knock him out. And then old Belasco says, take him to the freezing chamber.
Uh-oh.
I guess the same guys that put in the piping put in the freezing chamber.
Yeah.
And
it all makes sense now.
So this reminds me of like the Brady Bunch when they get locked in the freezer, you know? And
flashback to the old episode.
So they put Ka-Zar into the freezing chamber. And now we get a cut. And it's a little weird because there's no like elsewhere or nothing. It's just one panel. It's Ka-Zar going in the freezing chamber. And next thing we see is a little prehensile tail there, and it's pushing a little switch. So I guess that's what's his face's tail. And then we get a cut to Zabu trying to wake up the bird guy.
Yeah, well, he's like pulling him out of the water. I think he saved him by pulling him out of the water with his mouth.
Yeah, because I guess there is a meanwhile, but they put it way down in the bottom right corner. So because when I was just flipping through the book, getting shots for the YouTube video, I saw that tail, and I didn't know what the hell that was. And I was like, what is going on here? I thought that was Zabu's tongue at first. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, no, that's the tail. That's the same tail that was strangling Ka-Zar earlier.
Yeah, he's using the tail to flip the switch on the freezing unit. But anyway, Zabu saves the bird guy. I can't remember this bird guy's name. We'll call him Daryl.
I don't know. Booth or something like that? Like Buth, I think? Like Ruth, but with a B?
I have no idea. So, but he's a green fellow, and he's got wings. And again, he looks like Steve Guttenberg a little bit. I don't know. But anyway, so the bird guy's thanking Zabu. He's like, hey, thanks for saving me there, buddy. We got to go save him. And now we cut to Shanna. The demons are getting her ready for her wedding. So that's kind of nice. It's kind of like a Cinderella situation, except instead of little mice, it's demons getting her. But that wasn't Cinderella. Was that Cinderella? Yeah.
Yeah, that was Cinderella. Yep. Call.
And again, we see the amulet again around her neck. And Belasco, he's getting all friendly with her there. Little hands in.
Yeah. And a little kiss on the neck there. Yeah, it's creepy.
And he walks her off into the shadows. I don't like the looks of that.
Yeah, that's very like the end of the 1989 Batman movie where the Joker's like bringing Vicky Vale up to the top of the tower, and Batman's got to like try to get there before something happens.
Hey, but Batman didn't have to escape from a freezing chamber. That's what Ka-Zar's got to do. Ka-Zar's not exactly
6 Batman. He would have had to do that first.
Would have been great too. But Ka-Zar's not exactly dressed for freezing chamber. He's just got that furry loincloth on and some boots. Yeah. What he's going on.
So he could probably cut his way out with his nipples, like just cut through the glass.
So he's pounding on the glass. Get me out of this freezing chamber. But hey, that robot guy who tore himself to bits, Dirk or whatever his name is, he hears him calling. He's like, oh, hey, maybe I can go help Ka-Zar. But, he's in bits and pieces now. But his hand comes to life, kind of like It in Addams Family, that hand that just walks on its own, So the hand crawls over to the freezing chamber. And this whole sequence is just terrible, I think. I don't know. But because it was the problem I had with it was just have because then there's a part where Dirk says, oh, I can't see anymore. You got to tell me the hand where to go. And then Ka-Zar's like, a little bit more hand, a little bit more. Follow up the metal grate. It's just, I don't know if we needed any of that. Just have the hand go and free him, whatever. But,
you got to build suspense.
I guess. So the hand crawls up the grating and it gets to the switch and he flips the switch. And thank God, Ka-Zar's out of the freezing chamber.
It's not the most miraculous escape when it's just this hand flipping a switch. But, it's fine.
Again, this Ka-Zar guy does nothing. Everyone else is doing everything for him. And
he's more used to fighting dinosaurs and stuff. Like demons and all this robots. He's out of his element.
I'll say this is very odd, this book. It is not what I expected at all from a Ka-Zar book.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get to that in the wrap up, but very strange. So anyway, Ka-Zar says, hey, robot guy, he's all been torn to pieces. Hey, now it's time for me to give you a hand. And he gives his hand back or whatever. And Dirk says, no, you just go free Shanna or whatever. I'm a dead robot now. There's no saving me. I don't know. So he just leaves him there.
I think he does tell him, hey, come back for me later.
Yeah, sure, robot guy. I'll be right back for you. And Ka-Zar's running through the caverns. And then he comes across more demons, But then there's all these other little fellas. These little, green alien guys.
Yeah, they must have set up in a prior issue because it comes out of nowhere here.
These are the children of, what does he call them? Did they mention the name here? The children of Dis. D-I-S. So basically they just pop up and insult you. They're the children of Dis. No, yeah. These guys were like, there was a crew or something of fellas who sailed to this region. Oh, with Dante, I believe, maybe. And they were his ship crew, and they got abducted and turned into these creatures or something. I think that's
kind of looks like the moloids.
Yeah, just little green alien-looking dudes with eyes, and they shoot lasers out of their eyes, and they start zapping all the demons around Kazar. So they're helping Kazar out.
They got like Superman eye blasts.
And Kazar's like, "Hey, thanks, little fellas." Hey, I don't know. They can't talk, I guess, either. So they're just waiting around. I think they just live underground there. They just constantly fight these demons. I guess they're protectors to prevent the demons from getting up to the surface world or something. Yeah. So now Kazar goes over.
Kind of give him a look like, whatever. This is what we do all the time. You just get out of here.
This is our life now. And Kazar goes up and he finds Belasco and Shanna. They're having their little wedding ceremony in front of this pit of lava or just really hot water, depending on how you look at it. He lifts the amulet off of Shanna there and he opens it up. Boom, there's the pentagram. There's just one bloodstone missing. So he has that bloodstone. He holds it up just like on the cover. And he's about to put it in the amulet. And then Kazar finally does something heroic. What does he do, Jack?
Well, he jumps at him with the knife again. Yes. Still hasn't learned his lesson.
It'll work this time.
And then he gets attacked. The ground opens up underneath him. And here come a bunch of harpies.
Oh, there's harpies.
Always with the harpies. And so Belasco, meanwhile, has plenty of time. So he's like, yep, all right, put the stone in. Totally doing this. But then the green guy, Booth, he shows up with all of his, winged brethren. And they're like, oh, we got this. We can take on harpies. They got wings. We got wings. We got this.
This kind of reminds me of Jane Fonda. What was that movie?
Yeah, Barbarella. I was thinking
Barbarella,
that the whole time. Yeah. It's very similar. Like, just the kind of adventure. Felt a lot like that movie.
So all the wing guys come in, they're fighting the demons, and Zabu comes in, and he's tearing these demons apart. Don't mess with Zabu.
No. He gets his own backup story. That's how cool he is.
Yeah, that's right. We do get a backup story for Zabu. And there's an interesting panel with him putting the bloodstone into the amulet, and all kind of, energies coming off or whatever. And then we see the old gods, these demons, coming in. And it's like, uh-oh, there's trouble. And then we get a close-up of Shanna's rack. And we see Ka-Zar diving to grab the amulet. Yeah, he's grabbing the amulet. And he rips it off. And he does a somersault kick into Belasco's belly and knocks him around. And then he takes the amulet and he says, hey, to hell with this amulet. And he throws it and all the blood stones fall out of it. And he throws it in like a pit, I guess. And boom, all kind of crazy stuff happens. And all the portal to the old gods, it closes up. And Belasco's yelling and screaming.
Like, wait, take me with you.
Yeah. But what do they do to Belasco, Jake?
They light him on fire and send him shooting off the cliff, and he falls down into, a seemingly endless chasm. But apparently he falls all the way to limbo.
That's right. That's exactly right. He goes into that chasm, but it's into limbo. So the next time we see Belasco, he's in limbo. And that was a Chris Claremont creation there, right? He took all that, and I'm pretty sure.
That was a smart move by him.
And all the other demons just explode and whatnot. So now we're just left with Ka-Zar's holding Shanna and the bird guy and Zabu. You see their silhouettes. And this is it. That's how the book ends. So they say, it's okay, Zabu. She's all right. We're all right now. We're all right now. All right.
But then it's like, are we? I wonder. That's a deep pit, Lord Ka-Zar. A lot of places to hide, particularly for one whom the gods have made immortal. We shall see. We shall see. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Next, as long as we both shall live.
I think they get engaged soon after this, and I believe Belasco shows back up in issue 29 when they get married. So he's still trying to get Shanna to be his wife before she can marry Ka-Zar again.
So now we get a backstory with Zabu. We get an editor's note from Louise Jones here. There's a big full-page pinup of Zabu and Kazar by Gil Kane. So it's Gil Kane doing the art there. And she's given up an update on the publishing schedule for Kazar and how she said the next issue is going to be even bigger, so there's no room for a Zabu backstory next issue. I guess this is a recurring thing.
They're warning you ahead of time. I know you've been dying for another Zabu backup story, but you're going to have to wait till a month after.
And then she's also hyping up the Marvel Fanfare issue 1, which contains a spectacular feature-length Angel and Spider-Man team-up in, you guessed it, the Savage Land.
Dun, dun, dun.
That was a very famous Savage Land story as well, I think. Yeah. Well, did that one involve Sauron, maybe? Or was he
could be.
Sauron's another.
He was frequently involved with the Savage Land, for sure.
Yep. So, all right, so we get the big, nice pin up there from Gil Kane, and then we get Tales of Zabu.
Yeah.
And this is also Gil Kane in the art.
Yeah. You can tell because this wolf looks a lot like that Wonder Dog.
Rex the Wonder Dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anytime you need an animal story, get Gil Kane.
That's right. If only Bobo T. Chimp was here. So, would you like to tell the story of this Zabu backstory?
Oh boy. So there's a dog here, I forget his name, old Zaga. And he is just miserable. He's like, I don't know, this guy's got a lot of problems. He's got some kind of snout infection or something. Like,
yeah, he's got like a tooth problem.
Yeah.
He's an old wolf or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, his wife has had to carry the load and get them food, and basically she has to chew his food for him because his jaw is too weak to even process food. So she has to chew it up and then he can kind of swallow it. But now he's got to be the breadwinner because she's got puppies at home, so he's got to go out and get the food. And he is not happy about it. He's like, man, I'm useless. What does she want from me?
Yeah, this poor guy.
He's in the shit right now. And so he finds this like bramble patch, and he sees what he thinks is a dead saber-toothed tiger cub in there. He's like, oh boy, look at this. I didn't even have to wait for it. Finally. So he pulls him out of there. He's just like, I hope I don't get like a thorn in the eye or something. Then he grabs it by the scruff of the neck and brings it home. He's like, oh boy, my wife's going to be so happy. Look at me. I'm not a useless, limp dick little son of a gun. He's like, oh, here, Thana, look, like I brought you this delicious food here. Now get chewing because I'm starving. Chew this up for me. And she's like, it's not even dead yet.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
And of course, that little tiger is a itty bitty Zabu. Zabu goes over and starts nursing on the mother with the two other cubs, and so they take Zabu into their family. But the old wolf fella, he's not happy about this at all. He's like,
no. That's my wife's bosom. You get away from there. But she growls at him. She's like, whatever, just let him do it.
So we got the three cubs there, and there's the one brother cub. He's kind of a jerk, and then the other cub is kind of like the runt. He's a little fella, and the other brother always picks on him.
Yep.
Yeah. But Zabu likes the little fella. They're good buddies, and they hang out. But that other, the older brother, or not the older, but the bigger brother, he hates Zabu too. He's like, who the hell are you? Coming in here, sucking on my mom's teat. Yeah. We don't want you around here. So there's a lot of sibling rivalry among the three cubs. And meanwhile, the old father guy, he's like, man, I should have ate that one. Well, why didn't I eat that guy?
Why didn't I make sure he was dead? But I guess I couldn't because my weak jaw wouldn't have done anything. But
I infected snout.
I couldn't find a gun.
So the cubs grow up, they're having little adventures. They go out one day to fight an antelope or track down an antelope for dinner.
Finally, I think, supposed to go on the hunt themselves. Like, they're finally like, okay, you guys are old enough. Go get us some food.
And Zabu slips or something and he trips. And so when he recovers and he follows the antelope down, what's happened when he gets there though, Jank? Something happened when he was off the pursuit.
He gets up there to find that the antelope is dead, but so is the runt one that he's been friends with. So apparently the older brother, the mean one, he killed both the antelope and the brother. And I don't know if his plan was to blame it on Zabu or what, but that's the case. And he's not happy. So they fight it out. They battle over, this incident, and Zabu goes right for the throat, just takes him out. Bang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zabu gets revenge for his little buddy who died. Yeah. But now Zabu is standing over the 2 dead brothers and a dead antelope just when mom and dad show up. And say, oh man, I didn't do this. and wow, what a devastating afternoon for those 2 parents. They just
just brought this random cub into our family, and now he's killed our boys.
Yeah. Now the mom, I'm stuck with this old guy with the infected snout and the bad teeth, and I don't even have my kids. And but Zabu's like, oh man, sorry, but hey, they can't really talk about it because they're tigers and they can't talk. So, but he deep down, Zabu knows that if he stays, he's going to have to fight them now too.
Yeah, the old man with the weak snout. I don't know what kind of battle that's going to be. But he's like, oh, if I take the old man out, then the mom will be sad, and I don't want to cause her any more pain. So I'm just going to go.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The mom might have been pretty happy, actually.
Yeah, he kind of sucks.
She can start dating again. That old guy got in. But so yeah, Zabu heads off on his own, no family, and that's just quite the traumatic experience.
Yeah.
But then we see the final panel. There's a shot of Zabu walking through the tall grasses and whatnot, the jungle. And then we see like a little image of a young Kevin Plunder.
Somewhere, a little toe-headed boy is dreaming.
a little Kevin Jank is dreaming of one day meeting Zabu. And it's like, oh, these 2 lives are going to come together at some point. Fate will bring them together. And that's pretty cute. It's a nice little story.
That's where Zabu learned to adopt creatures that are not of your species, I guess.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Raised by wolves.
That is a nice little twist there. Yeah, so they raised him, and now he raises Kevin Plunder.
Yeah.
So that's something. That's a nice little backup story. I enjoyed it,
That was fun. It wasn't too long. It got to the point real quick, so yeah. It's cool with it.
All right, so there you go. That's Ka-Zar the Savage, issue 12. All right, Jank, the rating here is by a fellow named Bruce Jones. Now, I had no knowledge of this guy whatsoever, but you probably should.
Yes, I have read something else that he wrote before, that's for sure.
All right, well, he was born in Missouri in 1946. That's something. He has 161 rating credits at Marvel, including 16 issues of Conan the Barbarian in 1982 and 83. He wrote the first 27 issues of Ka-Zar the Savage from 81 to 83. He wrote Call the Conqueror, issue 1, 1983. It's another series we've never done, Call the Conqueror. It's on my list somewhere. In 2003-2004, he did the Kingpin, issue 1 through 7. Is that like a limited series, or did Kingpin have his own?
Yeah, that was a limited series, I think. I don't think it made it more than like 8 issues, if anything.
But I'm going to guess this is where you read his stuff. In 2002-2004, The Incredible Hulk, Volume 3, issues 34 to 76.
Yeah, that's right. He was a big run there after a terrible run by, I think it was Paul Jenkins, I really didn't like. Bruce Jones kind of brought it back to like the old school, the Hulk was on the run and going from town to town. It was had that 70s feel, but kind of with more of an ongoing storyline as well. They base certain parts of that Hulk movie that Ed Norton was in, took some notes from that story, because there was like, he was talking to like Mr. Green. He was like Mr. Green, and he was talking to somebody named Mr. Blue on the computer and stuff like that. That was from that era.
All right.
So yeah, it was okay. It's not my favorite, but after the Paul Jenkins thing, it was like, I'll take anything that's better than this.
What was wrong with the Jenkins era? Like, what were they doing there?
I think the main reason I hated it was he was the one who, they had always done a thing, especially since like right before Peter David took over, where there was 3 Hulks essentially. You got your Bruce Banner, you got the Green Hulk, you got the Gray Hulk. One's the id, one's the ego, one's the super ego. And then they combined them all into one, and it's like, oh, this is the Professor Hulk. Well, Paul Jenkins came in and was like, no, that Professor Hulk wasn't really a combination of all 3 of them. It was a brand new personality. And turns out the Hulk actually has many personalities. Like, there's a whole endless supply of personalities. There's a clown Hulk, there's a devil Hulk. Like, it's like, oh God, no.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
Yeah. You add that many things, it's never good. Just keep it simple. So, yeah, that was my main problem with that era.
So, Bruce Jones also worked at DC, 120 writing credits there. He did Vigilante Volume 2, 1 through 6, 2005, 2006. Nightwing, issue 118 to 124 in 2006. Deadman, issues 1 through 13, 2006, 2007. Man-Bat, issues 1 through 5 in 2006. Our buddy Man-Bat.
He came back. I got him another series.
And he did The Warlord, Volume 3, 1 through 10, 2006, 2007. So that's Bruce Jones.
Long runs there, apparently, other than the Hulk.
Yeah, the Hulk was pretty much his longest run.
Yeah.
And then Ka-Zar the Savage, 27 issues on Ka-Zar the Savage. So what'd you think of the writing here? Yeah, you mentioned earlier, like, the narration boxes, they were very prosy, like, but like literary kind of things. So, but yeah, I struggled with the dialogue in a lot of spots. But
I mean, for the most part, the dialogue, it didn't bump me because a lot of it was just expository dialogue. It was
Belasco, that's why I didn't like it. Yeah,
his backstory over and over again. But so it didn't have a lot of flair that like knocked me out or anything like that. But for the most part, I thought it was pretty solid. I liked the kind of darkness of what happened to Booth and the robot just ripping himself apart. Like, this thing felt like it had real stakes, even though I think everybody makes it out okay, basically. But it felt like, some dark, weird things were happening. So I appreciated that point of it. And I did think the narration boxes were pretty good for the most part. I remember there being some that were kind of fun. So overall, I mean, for a Ka-Zar story, I thought this was pretty solid.
See, that's my problem with it, is it didn't feel like a Ka-Zar story to me, because again, he's fighting demons. There's a freezing chamber. There's a guy with wings flying around. I don't know. It just seemed like a big mess. It seemed like a big mess. I don't know. There's a robot guy. I go, well, this isn't Kazar. What are we doing here? So
I mean, you're right. It's very much Barbarella. So if you like Barbarella, I think you'll like this.
Yeah, let's do Barbarella without the only thing worth watching in Barbarella, with Jane Fonda in her little outfits. Let's take that out, and then here you go. Here's Kazar. Not a good thing for it. Yeah, so I just didn't like the whole idea of this issue. I don't know. And then, I
feel like, there's only so many times he can fight Sauron or Kraven the Hunter, I guess, before we're like out of villains for Kazar. Unless you start
the Dante stuff is just weird, right? Like, calling back to the Divine Comedy and everything. What are we doing? I don't know.
I'm not against it. It's certainly been done before, where they call upon either real life historical figures or just real, other literary works.
It just seems strange in Kazar. I don't know. Maybe that's my problem, not a his problem. Maybe I just came in with expectations that were different than what I got. The old switcheroo on me.
Yeah. I mean, if it was going to be this or Dino Riders, like, I would rather be this. Like, at least I got some interesting stuff out of this.
I don't know. I wasn't a fan. The art here, Brent Anderson. We've talked about him on the show a few times before. Probably most famous, X-Men God Loves, Man Kills, graphic novel, 1983. That's his probably peak of Brent Anderson. And he did issues 1 through 15 and 18 and 19 of Ka-Zar the Savage. And I think we discussed him in great detail. And he was nominated for a Flea Award for Strike Force Morituri, issue 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did the first 9 and then 11 through 15 and 18 through 20. That was actually excellent, that book. And we did that a couple of years ago. That was 86, 88. So, but any thoughts on Brent Anderson? What else? Do you know him from anything else? I just always think X-Men, God Love Kills.
That's the main thing I think of.
Yeah, he did some X-Men issues in there too. A little handful, I think.
Overall, I would say it was pretty good. I liked it. Very heavy on the shadows for the most part, which was pretty cool. Makes it feel a little bit more, a little more adult, I guess, than your typical comic book. His propensity for drawing Steve Gutenberg's pretty great. I've sometimes everybody like Steve Gutenberg.
I didn't really like his Kazar. I liked his Belasco, and Shanna was fun or whatever. And I wasn't a huge fan of his names. But his Kazar, he was like drawing muscles more than drawing a human body. It seemed like Kazar was coming across looking flat, to me. But overall, like the heavy inks and the shadows and everything, that was nice. Zabu.
He's drawing a lot of stuff in this book. You got so many different like races of demons and creatures and moloids and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in here. I thought it all, for the most part, looked pretty good. Some of the action shots maybe aren't his specialty, but
yeah, that like his action seems stiff. Like I think he does better when it's a posed shot or something.
Yeah.
He's not really dynamic or
shots
fluid.
Of Belasco's face like look great, but maybe there's punch not as much.
Yeah, not exactly fluid in the movements there of the body. But the Zabu stuff with Gil Kane was nice. I like that. All right, so there it is. Overall, Janko, what do you think there, Ka-Zar the Savage?
You know what? I think I'm gonna have to give it a 7. I think I would honestly read more of this.
Yeah, I will go 5, right in the middle of the road, because I did like some of the art. I didn't like the story, or like the story's fine. I'm trying to save Sean. I don't know. This isn't what I thought I was getting. The Ka-Zar story. It's just not really what I want from a Ka-Zar story. But
I think that's why I like it, is because if you're gonna do a typical Ka-Zar story, where it's just him in the Savage Land, like I've seen that in other books like Spider-Man and X-Men and stuff, and it's like, that's never my favorite stuff in those books. So it's kind of like if you're doing something unique with Ka-Zar, I'm going to be more into it.
See, I'm exactly the other way. I've seen this demon stuff in other books, and I don't want it in my Ka-Zar. Like, keep your chocolate out of my peanut butter. You know what I'm saying? Get it out of there. I want hot jungle action when I pick up a Ka-Zar. That's what I'm looking for. So,
that's fair.
Isn't it? But all right, Jank, next week it's my pick, and I got us a winner. All right.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
you're promising something big.
We're going back to DC, and
your favorite.
I know it's crazy. I don't understand that either. So I was actually researching a different book when I was flipping through it, and then I saw there was an ad, and it said, the 10 best books of 1984. And it was just some goof wrote a column in some comic newsletter or whatever, and he had a top 10 list. And this book was on the top 10 list. And I was like, wow, this sounds crazy. Why would this book be on the top 10 list? So I'm like, we got to check this out. So next week we will be doing Atari Force, issue 4, 1984. Atari Force, Jank.
I have heard of this. No concept of what it's about.
Yeah. It's like
the big video game tie-in, I guess.
Yeah, the video game, Atari. It seems weird, but so we'll get into the whole history of everything next week. But basically, they have little comic books that you package with some Atari games or something. But this is completely different. This is like a different team. And it kind of reminds me like of the Starjammers or something, if I'm just looking at it from the outside. It seems like a superhero team that has space adventures and stuff. Yeah.
That'll be something.
It will be. Atari Force, Jank.
Atari Force.
Issue 4. So,
yeah, all right.
This will be great. It doesn't seem like there's any video game stuff in it at all. You know what I mean? Like, they don't come across...
does it reference any of the games or anything like that?
Yeah, that's what I was expecting, but when I was flipping through it doesn't seem like that way. I was like, oh, there's probably Pitfall in here somewhere. Nope, no Pitfall. Nothing like that. So, wow. All right, so that'll be next week. Can't wait for that. And until then, again, please like and subscribe on YouTube. So thanks to Jank, and until next week, don't get any jank on you.